Who have we got with us this evening? There we are. Gina, hello, good morning. Wherever you are in the world, how are you? This is online live psychic readings. It is Sunday, the 6th of August, and my name is Simon. This is my weekly slot. Hello, Claire. Hello, Stacey. How are you? And I'm here for the next hour to work the way that why am I hesitating? I don't feel like I need to do cards. I want to do cards today. I feel there's something else brewing up. So yes, hopefully to deliver a few messages to those who join us. California, wow, international. That's wonderful. So yeah, here for the next hour to see what happens. And I was just, and thanks to Veronica for allowing me to be here this evening. I was just explaining to her that, hello, Alison, how are you? Something unusual-ish happened about 10 minutes ago. I'm a bit of an artist per se, you know, painter, that kind of drawer. And I felt the need to sketch out some, it's really quite weird. It wasn't as if I felt like I needed to draw a face, as it were. Why are my messages flowing up? Oh, there we are. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Natasha. I almost felt as if compelled to draw them, which is a little bit odd because I have to choose my words carefully. So I'll see how the readings go and see whether these resonate with anybody. I've got to go with it, haven't I? Okay, so let's just throw it out there and see what happens. I don't know who's here, and hi Justin. If I don't get to say hello, I do apologise. Hi Ashley. Okay, let's just see what happens, because these two faces are staring at me and I feel I've got to use them. I've got to turn the fan off because the light's flickering. It'll set me off. Hi Ashley, thanks for joining. Facebook users, you need to click on the link that's up there for it to give you permission so I can see your names. I have a lady with me, and that's the first time I've actually felt like she's here, because I can see her in front of me because I've sketched her out, as it were. This lady crossed in her early 30s, I feel. Late 20s, early 30s. She was a larger-than-life character, always giggling, always had something nice to say about you, someone, whatever. Never said a duff word with it for anybody. Quite a round. If I don't get to say hello, I do apologise. I'm just reading from what I'm getting. Quite a roundish lady. Jolly would be a word that we would use. I would use. She had that kind of, see if anyone can take this. No, I'm not looking at the screen just yet. She had the kind of hair that always looked wet, not greasy, but wet, and it was curly and kind of that kind of length. I'm going to show you this loose sketch that came to me a minute or two. In fact, while I was on to Veronica, it was still happening. Just to give you kind of an overall kind of figure of the face, the features, roughly. Always smiling, but that kind of tight, curly, loose, fine, ringlety type hair. I'm going to say the name Janet. Janet. Right. Let's breathe for a second. Not in their 30s. Okay, Natasha. Stacey thinks she can take it. Can you take the Janet as well? 30s, but looks like my mother's best friend who passed a couple of years ago. 30s. Okay, I thought early 30s. My best friend died. Can anyone take the Janet link, or am I just being treated to over information overload? The image is key. Always smiling, always kind of happy, rotund. Didn't care what anybody thought. She was just herself. I can take it, but not the J. Janet, Janice. Can't think of anything. I'm not going anywhere further than Janet or Janice. I suppose at a push you could go to Jeanette. which actually takes me to a memory link of somebody who did look similar to this. So this could be why. She acted as she was in her 30s in her life, but not the J. She was the second one to me. Okay. Anyone take the Jet? Right. Alice, you can take the Jeanette. Can you take Alison? Can you take the late 20s, early 30s? I'm thinking 32-ish. And larger than life, not in your face, but just bubbly. You know, Vicar Dibley-esque. Let's just say that, and that probably means something to some of you. Alison, was that Alison? I'm going to go write Alison's name down. Alison, does the rest fit? Right. Alison can take Jeanette. Right. So, Alison, I think it's with you then. Oh no, she was in her 50s. Sorry. Okay, so we need to find this down. We're talking early 30s, early 30s. Janet, Jeanette. So, weren't Jane, Janet, Jeanette. Gotta look back through the comments. Not Janet. Stacey, you can't take a Jeanette or Jane. Not Jeanette. Posted a picture of yesterday. Didn't see it. Sorry. She acted. Natasha says, not the J. Second mum. Okay, not the J. Come on. Why the Janet? Janet. It's not January. She's it feels fairly obvious what she's here for too. So I don't know whether this is everything fits but the J. Everything seems to be fitting for a lot of things apart from the J. Okay. Do I leave you and come back in a second? My first name was Janet and wore my first name Janet and wore my hair like that in the 30s. Is it Veronica? Everything fits. She has children in their early 20s with the name J. Oh, they talk about link of all links then. We've got possibly Veronica and we've possibly got Natasha and a whole lot of bits and pieces from everybody else. So maybe this is one of these situations, which is not be a caveat to saying it's a general fit. But I don't know. She's here. And I feel this is the memory link. Because the person I knew was Jeanette. So it's not from me. And I haven't seen her for 35 years. And she was like, but she was slim. So it's not that for me. I think she just feels as if, you know, I know it's blurry, as if the feeling here is her birthday was January. Oh dear, oh dear. This feels very much as if, you know what, this is going to be okay. So I don't know who's going through, whether you're all going through a little bit of something where, and I'll put it bluntly, it's been a while since you've had a good laugh and things are perhaps getting you down, which is in turn knocking on the others. I feel this is a memory link to go back and say, hi, Tracy. So much I can hear. To you know, go back and re-look at something and harness that energy we had. Hello, Tiffany. What is it that made us happy back then? As it were, what was the Janet? This is a Janet. There is a real look on this lady's face of not completion. What's the word? Contemplation. That's the feeling, as if it's all good, no matter how much whittling we do, no matter how much threatening we do or planning. There's only so much we can do, and things will work itself out. Now, if you'd have said to me 4 years ago everything's going to be okay, I'm going to have to pause and look at that. I have a Crown Court case this year, and she was the biggest ally supporter, but faster on the process. I said to my mum in the final minute, I wish she was here. Natasha, if this is for you or part of it is for you, I do feel that this is for all of you that can take a part of it to say, you know what, Bridget looks similar to the drawing. It's kind of keep the faith a little bit, and that sounds a little bit cheesy and a little bit, Bon Jovi-ish, but sometimes that's all we have got. I'm worrying about quite a few things at the moment that could rock my world, as it were. And I have two choices. I can whittle and not sleep, and I can plan meticulously just in case. But all that energy is being used to kind of reinforce thing that may not happen, So you just have to think, you know what, I'm not sticking my head in the sand, but there's not a lot I can do about these things until they fall into place or do not fall into place. Do you know what I mean? So this is almost like quietly confident, quietly comfortable, saying, you know what, it's going to be okay. So I'm going to leave Janet there because there's so many people that think they could take her. Okay, your name's just shot out the park. Okay, sketch number 2, and I wasn't planning to do this. I don't know what I was planning to do. I presumed it was going to be cards or something, but these 2 sketches came out in quick succession. So I'll show you the next one, and then we'll see what happens and go from there. This gentleman is it's called Thomas, not Timothy. This is a Tom and a Thomas. I'm feeling he was 50s, smart. I'm going to show you it, and then I want to tell you why one of his eyes looks a bit iffy. So, no, it's not me. For anybody says it's not me, I thought that while I was sketching. There is a blur on his. Which way I look at it, one of his eyes because it's mirrored. I have the feeling that Tom was partially sighted, possibly blind, with something visible on one of his eyes, almost as in either. I'm not saying it wasn't there, but there was you would know when you saw him that there was a visual impairment there. It wasn't just blindness of one eye. There was something there. Tom, 50s, mid-50s, coming to me, always smart, swept over hair, squarish glasses, crossed. Suddenly, because all of a sudden I got a little bit scared, almost as if it was a accident, without the moment of rubbish, it's going to happen. Tom, was this chap a cyclist? Well, not a motorbike, cyclist. Anybody? This ring any bells with anybody? 50, 55, Tom, slender built, visual impairment, visual problem with one eye. Wishing the best on how she's good. Thank you. Thomas, cyclist, taken suddenly. I think it was an accident on a cycle. Not to do with the visual impairment, that was just one of those things, but it was just, and nobody saw him. Anybody? Ring any bells? Tom, cyclist, 55, 50s, possibly cycling to work because of the shirt and tie. Simon, you don't look or sound well. I'm all right, thank you. The light's a bit rubbish in here because the sun is coming over that way, so it's I'm almost in shadow, so I do apologize. Anybody take this, Tom? No? I'll come back to you, Tom, in a few minutes. all I can do with you, you're not going anywhere, as it were. You are going to stay just there, and I'm going to come back to you. 7 energies. Right, let's see where we're going to go. I think I'll repeat Tom in a second. Hello, Paul. I had an Uncle Tom. My mother was in a car accident, but don't know much about him. No, this is the Tom that's crossed. I think he was taken too soon, by accident, by shock. But thank you for saying that, Paul. Hope you're even Luke. Oh wow. Okay, let's see. I knew the energies were a bit iffy today. Dropping cards left, right, and centre. I've just done qualified Reiki 3 then a fortnight ago, and since then I've been vibrating and all. I had a cousin Tom who crossed over. Maxine, was he in his 50s then? 50s with some sort of eye issue, because the eye thing is key. Usually when I draw, I mean, I'm not Picasso or anything, or any of the decent artists, but specifically here, the eye was all kind of blurry and darker, as if there was an issue there. Yeah, I'm still in Swanage, still hasn't sold yet, but I'm praying. Now, as a young lad, thought we'd be around 50 now. No, this is 50. I have this feeling he was knocked over on his way to work. Or way home from work, that kind of thing. Okay, let's see. Fair enough. Darlene, let's come to you. I'm going to jot your name down. Don't think I've ever met a Darlene before, so hello. Okay, 3 cards have dropped out. Darlene, you got 3 cards, so we'll work with those, all right? Darlene. Big sigh. I'm going to drop these numbers down. That becomes one of those. Oh, that's a bit spooky dooky. Love it. That becomes 5. Okay, Darlene, for you, we're using the Oracle of the 7 Energies. A lovely, lovely, lovely deck. What am I going to say about this? Right, so the first card's 29. 29 comes to an 11, which is key. Going to tell you why in a second. Oh, yeah, we've got 2 Darlenes. So we got. Oh no, Darlene, it's your first time here. Fabulous. Good to see you. And if you like what I do things, my group's on the bottom there. Darlene, first card 29 comes to an 11. Second card is number 11. The third card is number 5. So 11, 11, 5. So if you think of, or you are a follower, a believer of numerology, or the Oracle in general, double-digit numbers are a really good sign that an energy is around you. Some call it spirits, some call it angels. I like to see it and feel it as, describe it as a vibration. Yeah, energy, frequency, sort of buzzing, that tingling feeling. So you got a lot of that at the moment. Darlene, the first card is Awakening Genius, a lovely looking card. I'm hoping you can see that. So this is really dark. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to draw my curtains. That way we can get a little bit more light going on. There we go. Awakening Genius. Awakening Genius. It feels, I know it says Awakening Genius, but it feels like I want to say, why do I always say that? Just say it. The time is now. Whatever you are about to embark on, or whatever idea you've had recently, it's a goer. It's one to go. Welcome to the madhouse. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a manic budgie in the background. And a wooden parrot above me, which I've got to tell you about another day. So yeah, the time is now, Darlene. Whatever it is you're thinking about, it's time. It feels like the timings are right, the energy's right. Nothing to do with the moon cycles. It's your time to shine. Second card, love it as well. It is the 11 in perfect harmony. as I said, it's the time. All your pipes are playing the same tune at the right tune. It's happening. It's now's the time to sing it and to just do it. The last card, 5, body and soul. Why do I want to warn? Why is there a warning with that one? Darling, can you understand this this new thing, this decision, this venture, the timing of something right now? Can you take that from? Can you take that? Just wait for Darling to come back, because the 5, the body and the soul, wants me to say, I'm gonna say, whatever this thing is, there is a slight danger of you committing too much of yourself to it. I'm the world's worst. I'm waiting for Darlene to come back to me on that. I'm waiting, not sure. I'm the world's worst for running away with an idea and having to get all the kit and all the information and eating it, sleeping it, drinking it, kind of thing. So I got to find the answer. If you're not sure, I felt that you'd already got this. It's not like this job idea or anything boring and mundane as that. It's as if you just feel like it's time to start to do something. Could well be that. But I think, and you are going to put your mind, body, and soul into it because it's so stressful. But if you have been thinking about moving, maybe that's the thing to go forward. I was thinking a bit more, you know what, I've had enough. Blow this, I'm doing it kind of feeling. But the house might be that thing. You maybe you've been wanting to move for a long time. Just don't be put out if the right house doesn't come along, or if the right house comes along and it passes you by. It happens for a reason. I've been trying to sell mine for over a year now. There have been complications, and I could get worked up. But you know what? If I have another winter here, I have another winter here. But what will happen when it's ready to happen. So just keep an open mind with that Darlene. Okay, let's give you a colour to finish off with. Or moving out of state. Well, you know what? I can't wait to move out of the area where I am. Been there too long and I need a fresh start. Not that I've done loads of wrong or anything, running from the law or anything, but I just feel like this place has exhausted me. And I've probably exhausted it. Your cards are flying all over the place, and it's absolutely roasting, man. Right, we're going to come back to Tom in a second. Right, revitalize your nervous system. 31 comes to a 4. It's another one of those. Okay, I think you're right, actually. Moving away from the 4 is stability. They're saying, you know what, you're absolutely fine. Sorry, let's go back, rewind. 31 comes to a 4, which is stability, but also with the stability 4, you want to kind of do a stock take and think, right, what is it I really want to do? When I want to go? Look at your options, and this might be the perfect time to say, you know what, where I am is fine, but it's not me anymore. I need to move on, whether the house or state. Darlene, I'll leave you there if that's okay. Right. Any that have joined, hello. We are live on online psychic readings. My name's Simon. This is my regular slot. I'm still trying to place this Tom character. Thanks, Natasha. It'll happen when it happens. This Tom character, which looks really blurry when I hold him up. Mid-50s, taken suddenly. There's a bit of a scared vibe with him. Not that he was scary, as if it was a bit of a shock when it happened. He wasn't expecting it. Wasn't a health thing. That's why I'm thinking accident. I can see cyclist. Anybody take this Tom? If not, I will go to. I will do as many as I can. I saw that question about romance. Why did that flang up? And I'm going to quickly respond to that, if that's one. Anne, do you see a romance coming with the man I know? Please. Thank you for saying please. Romance is a funny old thing. It can happen when you least expect it, as all the songs say. And I think the key, I'm not going to do a romance reading or anything like that. I don't, because I don't necessarily agree with them. But all I think you can do to help the situation is to shine honestly your light, your love and compassion. Because if you are being true to yourself 100% and you are being, I say, kind, compassionate on all that I've said, and you are being the best version of Anne Ivo that you can ever be, comfortably, you're not kind of self-inflating ego or going over the top with the way you speak to people or so. You are just being you, the core values of you, that should emanate that light, that love. If Mr. Right picks it up, if it's the chap you know and he picks up on it, fair play. If he doesn't, I don't think it was meant to be. That's not saying that it won't happen, but sometimes you've got to love yourself first, and you've got to love it through every hardship, and just be you and radiate the kind of unity of you. So I wish you, this man likes me but seems to be hesitant. There's a million reasons why he could be hesitant. Could be that he's not had many successful relationships. Could be he's in a relationship. Could be committal issues. You just don't know. All you can do, as I say, I would say, just perhaps have a chat, show your true self, and allow him to see that, and just see what happens. Don't go placing any bets. Don't go flipping in your heads or tails, because there's so many variables involved. Right. Nobody said they can take Tom, so poor Tom's sitting on the sidelines here. Maybe I'll have a look with him later. Right. Let's see. What are you doing? Turn around. And for yourself, I've got Jen McDonald. I've got a few situations that might be interesting if you have any answers. I'm just going to put caution to the wind. Let me just say, Jen, I've got a yes/no coin here. No, I'm not. I'm not using the yes/no. I want to use this one. I've got a tarot coin that's got the Wheel of Fortune on one, and it's got the Chariot on the other. You've got Chariot. Jen, out of the situations you've got, the ones that you can act upon with your kind of gut feeling, you need to act on. I think the Chariot would say steam ahead, straight forward, go with it. Okay, so the ones that you feel sure and confident with, act upon, so that you can almost get those out the way. The others, you've just got to wait for them to run their course. Let's pull you a card. Power of Purpose. Just the Power of Purpose. So this card is like a spiritual dartboard kind of thing. You've got to know what you want, but you've got to focus to get what you need, or get what you need to happen done. So with the Chariot, this is no time for dilly-dallying, as it were. This is a time for you to say, right, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to go for. It's only through being committed to it will you hit that target, kind of thing. 18 comes to a 9. 9 is the number that I attach to kind of self-reflection. So it's kind of mirror work, where you decide, where you really look within and say, okay, do I really want this? Do I not really want this? What do I need? Where am I going? it's yeah, I think go for what you can go for, and go for it 100%. Let's give you a colour. I'm going to try and speed up to get a few more people connected. In the same way that I just it just said, what was that card? The reflection, the kind of looking in. Connect to your deepest inner knowing. You've got magenta. Connect to your deepest inner knowing. You know what needs to be done, basically, and it may be the fear of what others will say. It may be the cost of it, maybe physically, emotionally, that kind of thing that you're concerned about. But deep down, I think you know what needs to happen. So I'm going to do a quick thank you, Jen. I hope it's given you a little bit of insight, guidance, but you know, that kind of thing. Right. Nobody can take Tom. I can't see if numbers have gone up, down, left, right, or whether people are. Let's have a look. You're welcome, Jen. Joanne Jones. Joanne Jones. Let's change cards. You do this every time, don't you? Every time I think, right, Joanne. Joanne Jones, how are you? Where are you, Joanne? UK, States, where else? Where are you? I've gone to a I've gone to a young person's deck because I think there's a fundamental message need. Joanne, yeah, this young person's deck is aimed at children, people under the age of 18. So they're very soft in their message. They are very direct with the message and very easy on the eye, imagery-wise. But I find that I use them well to. They just don't mess about, basically, Joanne. It's 29, which is another 11. So we've had a lot of those this evening. Joanne, the cards do your best. Not seen the card before. They're a relatively new deck of cards. You've got the old ant there carrying some kind of flower, image-based flower. Now we know ants can carry an awful lot of weight, but I think here this is, yeah, okay, you may well have the weight of the world on your shoulders right now. There may be an overarching issue that. Could I have the name of those cards, please? Yeah, absolutely. My first magic oracle. There you go. I've got 3 decks of cards aimed at under 18s, and I highly recommend them for just kind of easiness, gentleness, as it were. Okay, Joanne. Right, I almost wanted you to say no, I haven't, because the weight of the world can be tiring, you know, and the last thing you want to do is take any more on. The ant's going uphill. There's one uphill struggle. It's hot, the weather's sun's beaming, and he's got this enormous flower. All we can ever do is your best. Spirit, angel, vibration, the energy, that 11 is around you. They know what you are going through. They are helping. You may not be able to feel it as yet, but no, they are. A friend said to me once, and it's a friend I don't often see very often, but he's only about 10 miles away, 20 miles away. He said, you can never really make a wrong decision. You always make the best decision you can with the information you've got at hand. So if the weight of the world is on your shoulders, what did I want to say about the wrong decisions? Where was I going with that? Come on, back to me. Sorry, why did I want to go with what he said? Wrong decisions. This isn't you haven't got the weight of the world on your shoulders because a result of a wrong decision. No, far from it. Have you taken too much on, Joanne? I wonder if that's the case. You've taken so much on because you thought you were doing it for the right reasons, as it were, and it's turned out to be a bit of a challenge or burden. That's a bit of a harsh word to say, but you know what I mean. Let's give you another card from the Enchanted Map. These cards are just dropping out like flies today. 26 comes to an 8. 8's the energy flow goes around, comes around, it slows down and speeds up, and slows down and speeds up. It's the constant ebb and flow. I'll hold this card still because it is rather pale. You have a... Okay. Sorry to hear that, Joanne. You've got to take it bit by bit, right? Let me come back to the card in a second. Little by little. Step by step, second by second. There are, of course, things that, materialistically, things need to be organized. Physically, emotions need to be processed. Spiritually, you're kind of coming to terms with the loss. So there's a whole load of stuff that needs processing is the best word I'm going to use. Low mood. Well, forget the card says deep freeze. This line looks very much as if the mood is low. Yes, it's an ice plane. Yes, the lion sat by the lake, and yes, he's got his paw in the icy water. There are days where we can feel as if breathing can be really difficult. It's just one breath after another. And so compassion. And I used to get this, psychiatrists say, well, you've got to be compassionate to yourself. And I don't understand then. I didn't understand what that meant. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I understand it far better now, that if I wake up and I'm still tired, I stay in bed. If I need a nap in the afternoon, I'll have a nap. If I just need to eat vanilla ice cream by the tub, I'll do it. If there are things I feel I need for my own welfare, then I sometimes give in. Some days I don't want to be here, then other days I'm okay. And I know it's a struggle. Now, I have to step away from the reader position now because I'm going to ask you, and you don't have to answer this live on a live because it's not the time or the place, but make sure you are reaching out for any help that you need, whether it's family-based, whether it's doctor-based, whether it's support group-based, wherever, whether it's friendship-based, whether it's groups like this, whether it's the hobby circle, whether it's family, so that you've got somebody that you can speak to. And there are some wonderful services out there, text-based services, if you're feeling a little bit lonely, that you can just have a text conversation with no questions asked. I forget what it's called, but you can Google it quite easily. So make sure you've got those support networks in for those days where you think it's going to be a struggle today. But also when you are having a day that is I'm not going to say good day versus bad day, because you don't feel that they're good or bad. They're just, or they're okay. When you're having an okay day, that's the time to say, you know what? I can tackle this today. I can tackle that tomorrow. I can tackle this. We used to call things at school, when I was a primary school teacher, we used to call them smart targets. Small, measurable, achievable, relative targets. Some days it might be a real struggle to say, wash my face. So in that case, it's a baby wipe and it's a quick flash round. Do you know what I mean? It's making things accessible for you. Top I'll get back to the reading in a second. Things like when you're having a day that feels okay, batch cook a load of food, freeze it, stick it in the freezer. So on the days you're feeling a bit, you've got some at ping ping, 2 minutes late, you've got a meal ready. Do you know what I mean? Give yourself some slack. Hope that helps a little bit, Joanne. Right, another card for you. Sad embrace, 9, looking back. This is about embracing those emotions, shouting into the carrier bags, writing your thoughts down. I've got a little book up there where the worries and concerns go when I need to write them down. It's crying when you need to cry and letting yourself laugh. One of the difficult things, I think some of us rephrase that. One of the hardest things I've discussed, rephrase it. I think when people are in a sad place, they've lost somebody, or the world's gone upside down for them, and there's a feeling of guilt and remorse and all those kinds of emotions. When suddenly there is an opportunity to enjoy themselves, they don't think they're allowed to, or they're worth it, or that they should. But that's the complete opposite. When there is a chance for some shininess and some joviality, that's a real word. When there's a chance to have a laugh, you are allowed to have a laugh. Doesn't mean you care any less or that you've forgotten. It means that you are embracing an emotion. Let's give you a colour, Joanne, and then I'll move on. But lean on those that you need to lean on. Right. I just said something about smart targets, didn't I? About setting achievable goals. Brown, card 13. No, it isn't. Card 12 comes to a 3. Setting boundaries. Don't set yourself up to fail, which is just what I meant about these smart targets. It's not, for an example, oh, today, in order to feel better, I'm going to plan a trip to blah, 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 blah. There's so much to organize. Don't just do a little thing, go into town or catch the bus. Set healthy boundaries so that you can process at a speed with the right energies that suit you. Does that make sense, Joanne? Right, I'm going to leave you there. I don't know who Tom was for, but I don't think anyone here tonight is going to take him, so I shall mention him tomorrow in my group. I'll talk to him later and see. Right, who's next? Let's see. Right, Tiffany Starr. Can we put Tiffany Starr's back up? I'm just going to try and address her comment there. I'm desperate to hear from your sister. She passed a few weeks ago. I don't know. Is it too soon? Yeah, I personally, I'm going to state my 4 years experience and say there are some people out there that would say it's not too soon. There are some people out there that say it is too soon. But I think there's Tiffany. I'm not going to be harsh, but there is. If you think about the need for us to, for example, know that everything's okay for them versus the barriers that we put so that we can't hear them or see them, is a fine line there. There is a lovely book, and I seem to be talking about it's an awful lot called, I'm looking up there because it's on the shop up the top shelf. It's called Signs by Laura Lynn Jackson. She is an American medium, and there are recounts of case studies detailing the sheer vast amount of signs that can be given to us from spirit. You are more than likely still processing her passing, and so your emotions are up here, your needs are up here, and maybe they've got to come down a little bit before you can start not thinking about signs, but maybe there's a, if you always want something, you can miss something, So all I'm going to say is just relax a little bit. Think about, what did you say it was your sister? I think you said it was your sister. Think about your sister, the things she used to. Oh, that was the other thing in this book. Signs can be specific to that person. So yes, we say feathers and coins and small birds, but if your sister, for example, was a potter and she made pots, you might see pots. There are signs that only you and her will be able to pick up on. Do you know what I mean? So, all right, so ease off the gas a little bit, relax, and open up to the possibilities and the types of signs that could be available for you. All right. Yeah, I'll put Tom back up again. All right, Ashley, good idea. Some do. Yeah, I'm going to put Tom back up. So this was a sketch that I manically drew before I came on live. It looks a bit blurry from up on my angle, but there you are. Tom, 55-ish. It's quite smartly dressed. Wore a shirt and tie to work. There was an eye issue, maybe partially sighted in one eye. There was a feeling when I drew this of kind of urgency, as if there was kind of an accident. He was scared. I think he was knocked over. I think he was knocked over on the bike. He was a cyclist, and I think he went on the way to work. That's what I'm feeling. But I don't think Tom's here for anybody this evening. Hello. Let's see where we're going. Facebook user, you need to click on permission. Natasha Louise Jane. Natasha Louise Jane. Been drawn to a random deck of cards for you, Natasha. So let's see what we get. This is the Starseed Oracle, which doesn't always come out for readings. Natasha, I'll tell you what it is. These cards come out when there is, when I feel there is a, phrase this how I want to phrase it. A kind of longing to be somewhere, or not feeling quite at home, or, you know, that whole kind of where's my place in the universe type feeling. You know, we go through these phases time to time where we have our we have everything about us questioned, and we kind of think, well, what are we, where are we, what are we doing? How much is a reading? These are all free readings while I'm on here. If you wanted to see me for a private, then you'd have to join my group. Natasha, that is me right now. Bit of an identity crisis. Identity crisis. I almost want to know more. Identity crisis. I'll just ramble on and see if this clicks, because it feels as if it's going to. Natasha, there's so much pressure to conform. I'm just waiting for Natasha. To conform with what society deems as acceptable, and all those things. And I remember growing up thinking, well, I'm not sporty, I'm not this, I'm not that, where's my place? And it's only with a little bit of age and a little bit of experience you start realizing that forget everybody else. Natasha is Natasha, and Natasha does what Natasha wants, type of thing, you know. Um, if you feel you've lost your way a little bit, as in your role, your life path, that sort of thing, well, it's not that you've lost it, it's just that it's been thrown into question. Now, that could be that situations have arisen. So I felt like it was a massive noise. Situations have arisen to cast that into doubt and to make, and I'm looking for Natasha. I'm just looking at that post. I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago, even 4 years ago. I've had lost a lot of family support over the last year. This card sort of sums it up a little bit. I'll read it out. Surrender to the sweetness. This is all about Venus energy, pleasure, joy, and make love to life. At the heart, who do you really need in this world right now? I'm a full-time carer to an SEN child with other medical needs, and it's made me just be a mum or carer and lost my way a bit. That won't always be the case. That won't always be the case. SEN must be incredibly difficult. I'm not, as an ex-primary school teacher, I know that it is difficult to get support. It's difficult to get diagnosis and all that kind of thing. And you have to fight these battles on your own most of the time. But things do get easier. Things will get easier. Maybe your child, I don't know how old they are, whether they are to the school age, maybe get a place in a school that can manage his learning needs, etc., to give you a few hours of yourself. But it is important for you to not just see yourself as a mum or carer. You may only have half an hour to yourself a day, but that's a half an hour that and I'm not going to say sit and ground yourself, because I know what it's like when you're a full-time parent and things are challenging for you. The last thing you want to do is sit cross-legged with a load of crystals. You just want to sit and relax and just do nothing. Or you're that tired, you fall straight asleep. All things are temporary. And I can say that from a place of experience, that we may think, this is it. This is all we're ever going to be. And it's kind of as I said earlier, kind of having that faith to say, you know what, this is just temporary. Things will pass by. I've got to keep, I don't want to say keep your chin up, but keep your chin up, keep your, she's in school, but it's been a hell of a fight to get the support. I can imagine still continuing to fight the support she needs keeping, but oh man, she's been sucked right out of me the last 2 years. Look at what you have achieved. Flip it around. You've got that. You've got the space. She's getting the support she needs. So if you can, while she is at school, is there just a 10-minute thing you can do a day, a 15-minute thing you can do a day? Again, can you do some of the old states? I don't want to say it's all meal prep and whatnot, but batch cooking food and meals so that you can claw a bit of time towards the end of the week back for yourself. We're all going to send you loads of support, because none of us can imagine what it's like until we're in that situation. But you are Natasha, all said and done, and one of your jobs is a mum, one of your jobs is a carer, but you are Natasha, and you will always be Natasha. Just sometimes you might have much time to be Natasha, but it evens out. Honest, it will even out. Bring you another one. I love the old slow cooker. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had it on today. I had some frozen brains faggots. I had 2 tins of tomatoes. I left it cooking all day. I've eaten today. I'm going to have the rest of it tomorrow. But yeah, love the slow cooker. Love the rice cooker as well. That's a good one. and the old air fryer, which should be Veronica. It should be a Rate My Kitchen Appliance show. But they all save time. They all allow us to claw time back for ourselves. All right. Your last card, Natasha. Earth School, odd. Life lessons, soul growth, study higher learning. So yes, you are learning. You are going through a tricky time, and you might feel absolutely exhausted most of the time. But this is a massive, massive thing that you're doing, and you are getting stronger for it. You're getting wiser for it. And who knows, you could set up a little Facebook page to offer support to other mums with SEN children, to give them some of the tips that you've found out. There's a whole, someone's hardship can be another person's lifesaver. It could be that you can supply that much needed information to others that are in your situation and get like a little network going. High learning and all the learning you are doing about the condition that your daughter is under, it's so invaluable to her day to day. So yes, stay strong. What a lovely thing to say, Joanne. Ladies and gents, it's Sunday the 6th of August and we've been live on online psychic readings. My name is Simon. I know I've only managed to read for 4 or 5 of you this evening, but I try not to be too quick and do my best for each of you. I am back next Sunday at 5:30. This is my regular slot. I don't know who is on next, whether Veronica has been able to. Oh, tomorrow we have Sheila at 5 p.m. British summertime, we should say. So thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Thank you.